All right, Mike Contesta, thank you everybody for coming here tonight. I am president of the board of directors for Jefferson Park. It's an area neighborhood. We have 260 homes, and inadvertently, from time to time, I get sucked into outside of the neighborhood politics. Namely, we have a fiduciary responsibility to ensure the good working order of Jefferson Park, but I've become passionate about becoming a voice for others in our area. Many of us have experienced car accidents, deaths, nonstop traffic getting stuck. We all have been through this before, so thank you everybody for coming here. I'm gonna go ahead and do my best to keep my cell phone situated so I can read this here, but essentially, we're now calling this meeting to order, so we've got a fairly good turnout. Thank you everybody for coming. Thank you for your commitment to the cause and spreading the word to your neighbors and friends. We do, for anyone that has not done this, please do sign in. There's a electronic device of some sort, an iPad, I don't know. There's a tablet out there where you can sign in. So anyone that's not signed in, please consider signing in. What's that? No, just, on your way out, we're requesting that everybody sign in so that we can maintain communication. When there's updates, we can get them out to everyone, and anyone that happens to be an HOA representative, you can get it onward to the rest of your people. And that way we also have an email address for everyone in attendance. We'll keep the meeting as brief as possible, and we will have as many clear action items as possible because we've got a short-term version of how we think we can beat this and also a long-term version. And tonight we're here to focus on the short-term version. We do need all hands on deck, so get your friends, your family, neighbors, etc. involved on the next, I think it's a week from tonight, right? So a week from tonight is the Knox County Commissioners vote on this particular one. We'll be approaching this campaign with military precision. And a brief explanation of Neighbors of Knoxville. This organization was formulated by some passionate folks out in West Knox County, and we're very lucky and blessed that we've got a good crew. It's taken some time to build it out, but it started with the President's Club, which predated my arrival to Knoxville. There was several HOA representatives and presidents that posseed up and got together to make our voices heard. It's hard when you're just a lone wolf out there, but when you got a wolf pack, eventually the people will hear you. So we're grateful for the growing wolf pack. President's Club's how it came together. We want to recognize the team that leads it. There's several folks, some of the names I can't name, but area HOA presidents that are nearby, Jefferson Park, and then we've got for the Neighbors of Knoxville team, Daniel Sanders is our attorney. He's present. He'll be speaking at some point tonight. Dan, round of applause for Dan. This guy's a genius. We've been blessed with the presence of Melissa Lively from America First PR. She's a powerhouse. Give it up to Melissa. We have Mike Mitchell, who's been fighting the good fight. Mike Mitchell has been instrumental in Knox County conservative growth efforts, right, for about 20 years now. Very knowledgeable, and holy Toledo, the dude knows more than I can download in a massive hard drive. So thank you, Mike, for being here. We do need the entire community to align together in one united front, and this is a safety first situation. I teach this to my 5-year-old son. Safety first. I'm being strategic with my silence there. Safety first. Okay? Doesn't mean we're against development, doesn't mean we're against other folks coming down and living in Knoxville. It means safety first. We're taxpayers, we have the right to leave our neighborhoods without getting killed. Through the course of this meeting, we will call on the group to volunteer for leadership roles for certain tasks. Melissa will explain more of that later, but we do have a call to action, and folks that are willing and able to volunteer, we'd love to meet with you after the meeting debriefs, including neighborhood communications, flyer distribution, door-to-door canvassing, making phone calls, sending emails, preparing written statements, engaging friends and neighbors on Nextdoor app, social media, Facebook, whatever you have and use, in-person protests, and public speaking. So that's the gist of what we're going to do here. We've got a few speakers, and I tend to blab. So without further ado, Melissa Lively with America First PR.
Thank you very much, Mike.
You're welcome.
Okay, guys. Well, very nice to see many of you again. Lots of familiar faces in the crowd. If you guys don't know me, I own America First PR. I specialize in public affairs, specifically on development issues and rezoning issues. So the neighbors of Knoxville definitely found the right person who is not afraid of a fight and knows lots and lots of ways to make projects go away. So lots of things going on behind the scenes that are already in motion. We have an excellent team here with some very, very intelligent and effective people operating on all parameters. The purpose for this meeting is to mobilize the community and the neighbors and talk about why we are pushing against this rezoning and why it is grossly inappropriate for the neighborhood. First of all, the first thing I want to show you guys are, Exhibit A through D, which many of you have already seen because you experience it every single day when you leave the neighborhood, from astronomical traffic and wait times to serious accidents. We are looking at a 36% increase in increase in traffic accident fatalities in this community because of the issues with this stretch of road. So the prospect of adding thousands of more trips per day, I believe on the rezoning application there's upwards of 2,000 more car trips added to this roadway a day, is insane. It's absurd. And dads and moms who have got young teenage drivers, including our Commissioner Kim Frazier spoke on a meeting on Friday, said that she is terrified every single time her teenage drivers get the keys and leave the house. So that, as somebody who has a say and a stakehold in our community and a vote at the meeting next week, that's something that I take really, really seriously, because when the commissioner says, I am scared of my teenage drivers driving, we've got a problem. We've got a problem. So, aside from the inconvenience, it really is the safety, not to mention, God forbid, I'm in an ambulance waiting behind this kind of traffic. It's when seconds count, it's when minutes count, it's when we are in fire season and your house is about to burn down, it's when your father has a heart attack and the ambulance can't get there in time because the infrastructure is not there. We are not prepared for the influx of population that this project poses. It just does not work. It does not work. It's as bad as it is now, and they want to add 2,000 more car trips a day and tons of new residential on an area that's farmland. This is an area that was made for agricultural purposes. I won't even get into the impact to the quality of life and the local biodiversity and the nature impact. That's a very serious issue as well. But what we're really, really worried about is the fact that emergency services cannot get to where they need to go when they need to be there. And as a taxpayer, the minimum that you should expect from the city or the county in which you live is emergency services when you need them. We don't ask for a whole lot. It's not even like we're asking for, the appropriate teacher to student ratio, which will also be impacted by this influx of new population and new growth and new residents. We already have way too many kids in the classroom and not enough teachers, but that's another story for another day. Okay, so we're asking you guys to rally together on this. We have a short window of what we can do to make our campaign known and make our strong, vehement opposition known to this project. It would be my preference that the developer goes ahead and pulls the application because they know it's not right. They didn't consult with the community. I think the first time we ever saw the developer was on Friday at this meeting, where we have video of him saying, I'm not going to answer any of your questions, I'm not forced to answer any of your questions, and I'm basically going to do whatever I want. So, and if you'd like to see that video, it's posted on our Neighbors of Knoxville Facebook page. I have not personally met Mr. Cook, but I was really disappointed. In fact, I know that they were made aware of issues that the community had with this project back on the initial filing of the application, and they ignored that as well. So, not the best business people I've ever seen, not the most engaged developers I've ever observed, but it's just, coming with the territory. We dealt with the same thing last year with Dominion, who also did not care what the neighbors had to say. So, all right. Traffic danger, we know that the traffic issue has spiked. It's ridiculous, it's absurd. If you drive down the road, it's very obvious that the road was not designed for the amount of people that live here now. COVID happened, I get it, everybody wants to live in Tennessee. Knoxville is a nice place to live, you don't pay a lot of taxes, boom, you got tons of people. And I don't blame the developers. I've worked for many developers over the years. I understand that, there's demand and there's supply, and people want to live here and they're trying to supply homes. It just, at this point, it's just not set up that way. And another point on your commissioners and your county and your state, you guys were told you were getting infrastructure improvements that haven't happened yet. So they're trying to put the cart before the horse, and this is a very appropriate discussion once those infrastructure improvements have been made, but they just haven't been made yet. And we talked about the strain on the resources as far as police and fire and everything else. So we know about that. Mike Mitchell, when he speaks, will give you specific statistics that will shock you in terms of those emergency wait times and the overflow of hospital patients that are literally just wait. I think he was telling me a story earlier today of a gentleman who had a heart attack that couldn't be seen by the emergency room for 16 hours. I said, that man should thank God every single day that he is still alive, because not many people survive a heart attack that was not seen by a physician in 16 hours. It's just insane. We talked about overcrowding schools. We talked about skyrocketing wait times for emergency services. We will get you guys specific hard facts that you can discuss when you do your initiatives and you talk to people. The materials that we're going to send you out have those hard facts outlined. So, and you need to ask your mayor, your commissioners, all the people who are making decisions in this process, why they have allowed it to get this bad. Why have they not addressed any of these issues, and why are they allowing more development to push forward when we just do not have the infrastructure for it? It's unless somebody is benefiting from this in some way that we don't know about. It just really doesn't make any sense, because if they live in this community, they are being impacted by this as well. I mean, it could be anybody in this room or anybody that we know and we love whose family is affected by these ambulances or fire trucks that cannot get there on time. I mean, it's just facts of life, and it's very unfortunate. All right, so we are taking a stand, and we're doing everything that we can to get to put a stop to this. Not only this development, I mean, we are not singling out this individual developer, but this is an ongoing problem of overdevelopment in Knoxville. And we've seen over the last year that it's just gotten completely out of control, and what we are asking is to pump the brakes a little bit. Let's take a breather, let's look at the infrastructure situation and figure out what the actual timeline is to get those improvements made before we press forward. We're just saying, let's hit pause and get this figured out so we can address some of these serious issues, that are happening now. I mean, it makes zero sense at all. If you've got a hole in the boat and the boat is sinking, why pour more water in the boat and help it sink faster? It's the most absurd thing I've ever heard of. All right. So let's talk about specific action items, because that is what we're here to ask you guys to do, to mobilize. First of all, thank you again so much for being here on short notice. I'm going to ask that after this meeting tonight, everybody in this room contact 5 people, friends, neighbors, moms in the school pickup line tomorrow. Talk to 5 people and tell them what you learned tonight and ask them to get involved. The first thing that you can do is get them dialed into our Neighbors of Knoxville Facebook page. Our Neighbors of Knoxville Facebook page is kind of the main repository for all of the materials that go out for the campaign, in addition to email and everything else. We also have a brand new website that launched today, neighborsofknoxville.org. Has all of the toolkit that you'll need to perform a lot of the tasks that we're asking you to do. And then, of course, this handbook. We have lots and lots of copies of this handbook. Please feel free to take a stack to bring to your neighbors and friends as you leave tonight. Anybody who was not able to be here in the meeting, it's your guidebook. We are going to maximize the phone call blitz. So starting tomorrow morning, I need you guys to get on the phone. Call every single person that is listed here, starting with the mayor's office. Call Glenn Jacobs. The messaging that we're asking you to say is right there. And please, share your own personal concerns. You guys know, you live here. You know how this is affecting you every single day. We want to call every single commissioner. There are 11 commissioners that will be part of the discussion on Monday making the vote. Call every single one of them. Not one is more important than the other, and all need to hear from you. Keep calling. If you do not get them, common tactics that they are going to employ to try to avoid you, they're going to have an assistant say, oh, he's not in, or leave a message, and da-da-da-da-da. Just keep calling to get them on the phone and leave messages. And note, if you are getting somebody who says, he's not in, or I'll take a message, note that. I mean, I'm sure that the developer is going to avoid speaking to anybody. That's just how they work. But as far as the elected officials, it is their job to take calls from constituents, and they should be returning your call and making every effort to speak with every single person that calls. That is what they are hired by you to do. Keep calling, keep leaving messages, make it your duty to call every single day, ask everybody who you talk to do the same thing. I would say that in addition to social media and posting and all of this stuff, our phone call blitz is the most important thing. Sign the petition. There is a change.org petition that is on our website and on our Neighbors of Knoxville Facebook page. Please sign it, share it to your sphere of influence, email it to your neighbors. We've had some really helpful people send it out to the HOA Association, so we're moving on that. As an aside, they have closed the comments on the rezoning case online, but we have over 500 comments on there. Just for comparison's sake, I think we only had half of that on Choto Landing. So the fact that we have 500 people that already did comments between November and now, we know how fired up people are about this. So just because you don't see 500 people in this room tonight, we had close to 200 people in the room last time, does not mean that there are not 500 people that are working behind the scenes. Today is also a holiday, so again, thank you guys for being here. All right, so sign the petition, share content to next door. I know everybody lives in different neighborhoods, and it's different little pockets layered on. We don't know, where you guys live, so it is your responsibility to take the graphics and everything that we're posting on Facebook and getting them over to your next door page, because your next door page is just your immediate radius. So please, if you're a next door person, we need help on next door. Any of the meetings, I don't think we'll have another meeting between now and Monday, but engage in our letter writing campaign. So in the handbook at the end, there's a sample letter. You're also going to get this via email, so you can just copy and paste anything that you want from the handbook and just drop it. We need to blitz all of the mayor, the county commissioners, the developer with emails with your own personal statement on why this project is wrong, imploring them to pull the application or vote no or whatever it is we're asking them to do. So the two things, again, to reiterate, the phone call campaign and the letter writing campaign. Participate in the in-person protest next Monday, 3 p.m. at Knox County building, the City County building. We're going to meet out there 3 o'clock in the afternoon. We will have, you like these pretty signs, we'll have these and a whole lot more, to make our visual representation of our opposition so that we have the opportunity to exercise our First Amendment rights, protest the developer, protest the project. We'll have media on site, and we would like to get as many bodies on site as there is possible. We'll have more information for you about that later this week. I understand that parking down there is a bit of a challenge, so we will organize transportation by bus from one of the central neighborhoods to get people there if we need to. But expect a big crowd there, and put that on your calendar now to share that time of day with your friends and family, because we're going to want all hands on deck for that one. Participate in the growth plan meeting and zoning vote. So the reason we're starting at 3 o'clock on Monday is because the growth plan meeting starts at 5 and then the actual vote is at 7. So for everybody who's going to walk into that building, they're going to have to walk by our protest. That's why we're starting at 3 o'clock. So we'll ask everybody to be there at 5 o'clock. It's a public meeting. We'll head in and be present for that. We have speakers that we've already designated in addition to our attorney who's going to speak. And then if there's anybody else who really, really wants to speak, get with us and we'll get you on the docket to be able to speak that day. And then of course at 7 o'clock they will make their decision. So everything that we want to do between now and Monday has to happen quickly. Okay, and then of course, again, we'll send out communications via email and social media on everything that's happening. On your handbook, you've got the important dates to remember, just what I just talked about, the locations and the times for the various meetings, and then outlining the phone calls, how and when to make the phone calls. Again, because this is a Monday vote, Friday this week and Monday next week are going to be the 2 most important days just to hammer those phones. In addition, to tomorrow, obviously, but we will remind you guys to make that final round of call on Friday and Monday, because that's when really will be crunch time on the decision. And I think that's pretty much it. We've got a whole bunch of other tricks up our sleeve that are happening simultaneously, but we rely so much on the efforts of the community. And again, I just can't thank you guys enough for getting here and getting mobilized and becoming chiefs, in your own community, and taking the information that you've gotten tonight and organizing your own immediate circle and sphere of influence to put a stop to the overgrowth development. And we will put a stop to this one, and hopefully we will put a wedge into the next one. We are not joking, and we are not backing down this time. So thank you guys. Now I'd like to. Oh no. Okay. Now I'm going to pass the torch to our attorney, Daniel Sanders.